Hey, what's up, everybody? Jonathan Bailor and April Perry back with another SANE show. And today we are going to talk about the M word, movement. April, we're talking about movement today. Are you excited?
I am so excited to be able to dive deep into this specific topic because I have questions from everybody. It's actually been really fun. I actually like to filter through these questions and figure out what are the most common problems that people are having. And one problem is that people don't know how much they need to move their body. The front of your book, The Calorie Myth, says that you can exercise less, right? And so people are thinking, first of all, Jonathan doesn't want me to exercise. He thinks that exercise is bad. Of course, we all know that we need to be exercising. So yes, we're all about that. But then what we start seeing are a whole lot of different pieces of advice on how movement should be done or rules we should set up for our movement. And there are a lot of misconceptions out there. And I feel like I have even just a lot of things that I'm confused about. So are you okay if I go through a list of some of these misconceptions and you can help us?
Absolutely. But before, I got to give one quick shout out before we get into the list of specifics. You know, the common clarifying question, in case this is the first podcast or video vodcast or however Google Glass magic episode you're watching here, is when we say exercise less, what are we saying? What we're saying is conventional exercise like jogging and stair steppers and stuff like that, which you hate doing. Do less of that and instead do more intelligent exercise and more just general activity like walking and standing and moving. So nonsense exercise, yes, do less of that. Smarter, intelligent stuff like weight training and walking and playing with your children, do more of that instead. All right.
Okay, love that. So glad you clarified. And what's so fun is my daughter, Aaliyah, who has completely transformed her life going SANE, has a yoga class in her high school. So she does yoga 2 or 3 days a week and just loves it. And I'm amazed at how strong and healthy she is. So that's kind of fun too. Little shout out for yoga.
I love yoga as well.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now and just kind of read off these different pieces of advice that I've received. And I actually found these in one article, and I was so glad to have them all in one place because these are the things I've been hearing my whole life. And when you look at all these rules and you try to figure out how to apply all of them to your life, you feel totally exhausted and confused. So not that all of these are wrong, they just, I don't think, are really explained clearly. So here's one. You'll lose weight and fat if you walk 45 minutes a day, but not 30. You also need to walk 5 minutes for at least every 2 hours. I'm assuming it's kind of as you're sitting. Walk before dinner and you'll cut calories and your appetite. So people are thinking, okay, good, I won't overeat at dinner if I walk first. Spend 10 minutes a day walking up and down stairs. Make one social outing this week, an active one. Buy a pedometer. I mean, everybody is having those Fitbits or things and they're trying to get certain numbers of steps. So this one says, try to get an extra 1,000 steps a day. Watch one less hour of TV, watch something thoroughly once a week, be moving, right? These kinds of things. So this is also something that I find all the time in magazines where they say things like, hey, if every time you go to the store, you park at the farthest parking spot from the store entrance, over your lifetime, you're going to burn an extra 5,000 calories or something like that, right? They'll give you all these little things where if you reach farther for your alarm clock, you're burning more calories every morning when you sit up. I mean, it starts becoming almost ridiculous, like you are trying to just randomly move your body to lose weight. And so can you just walk us through this and help give us the principles so we can understand how to interpret all this?
Yeah, like you said, April, a lot of these things are, well, they might be partially true or half true, or they might be true, but for the wrong reasons. And I think actually that's like really important. Like, for example, just be more active.
Yes.
That in and of itself is, if those are the only words uttered, I agree with that 100%. If it's be more active so that you burn more calories and weigh less, well, then I would say, okay, now that new statement, I've got some problems with that. And that's true. Like, why we do things matters a lot, right? Like if the reason that you hug your child in public is so that other people will think that you're a good parent, Like, that's kind of a bad, like if an article said, make sure you show your children affection so that other people will think highly of you, you'd be like, wait, what? That's, yes, I should show my children affection, but not so that other people will think more highly of me. Like, I should just show my children affection because that's what people should do, right? Okay, yes.
Right.
Move your body. Absolutely. Move your body. Not so that you can conform to some misogynistic societal thing which says that women should be smaller, but rather because your body was meant to move, right? Like we're supposed to stand up. Like that's why we have legs. Like sitting in chairs for 12 hours a day is not the natural state for humans. So it's not about working at a standing desk so that you can fit into a size 2 when you're 45, which is ridiculous. It's about working at a standing desk because it will radically reduce back pain. It will radically reduce wrist pain. Humans are designed and intended to stand for longer periods than they're sitting. So that's why you should do it. You know, so it's great. Yeah. So yes. So will you, so, you know, the first thing here that says you'll lose weight and fat if you walk 45 minutes per day, not 30. So if that was phrased as walking for 45 minutes is better for you than walking for 30 minutes. Yeah, I love walking. And if you could walk for 45 minutes per day instead of 30 minutes per day, I would absolutely say do that. That will improve your health. But if you're doing that because you believe that that 15 additional minutes will burn 17 additional calories, and if you do that every day, that means using calorie math that you'll lose 14 pounds until you eventually weigh nothing. Well, then, you know, that's where it sort of falls down. Does that like why you're doing it distinction make sense?
No, I think it's really helpful because I knew that we were going to be recording this podcast. And a few days ago, my son, Ethan, and I went on a walk. It's been one of those days where I had been sitting way too much. I'd just been inside too much. I needed a break. Late at night, it was dark. I'm like, hey, Ethan, will you come on a walk with me? So he's 12. So he comes with me and we're out together, but we had to get back. So I only had 30 minutes. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, it said I was supposed to walk 45 minutes and not 30 minutes. So am I doing something wrong by coming home after 30 minutes? And that was totally crazy. I know, but it's really helpful because yes, movement and walking is good, but that difference in the 15 minutes, that's not going to radically change the way your body burns fat or how your metabolism works. Is that what I'm?
Not only is that true, April, but like we can extrapolate the truth you just said into like this giant macro principle, which makes nutrition and exercise so ridiculously more simple. And that's these like 45 minutes versus nobody is struggling with their weight because they're only walking for 30 minutes a day instead of 45 minutes per day. The reason we have an obesity epidemic is not because people aren't measuring their servings of vegetables accurately enough, right? Or they're missing the 7 minutes of additional walking, where if they would have done it, that one thing would, no. Like if you eat vegetables, proteins, and fats, if you move your body, if you sleep, if you minimize stress, if you have loving relationships in your life, you're going to be healthy. But we want to, because we're told to focus on all this other nonsense, we get distracted from those basics.
Okay. So, and then finding a theme in a lot of these things are just giving you more excuses and more reasons to be active. Because, I'll say real quickly, this one about watching, I know I'm going out of order now, but the one about watching TV, you know, for an hour less a day. When I was in high school, I did this TV fast for 30 days. And as I was a senior in high school, I said for 30 days, no TV, no videos, nothing. I lost 6 pounds that month. Not trying, because I wasn't sitting in front of the TV and I wasn't eating while I was sitting in front of the TV. So my body just lost 6 pounds. So I think what we can see is that when you are standing, active, moving, you're allowing the natural metabolism of your body and the natural functions of your body as being human to work and to help you to be healthier. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right, April. And I think a lot of these things, just building off what you said, for example, like park further away from the grocery store, what these are trying to do is, so we live in an unnatural world. And it's pretty fair to say, right? What we're doing right now is incredibly unnatural. You're in California, I'm in Seattle, and we are not only speaking, but we are seeing each other while we speak. That's unnatural. Like that's totally unnatural, right? So we live in an unnatural world. That doesn't mean it's bad, right? Like it's good. There's a lot of wonderful things about living in an unnatural world. But sometimes when you're in an unnatural world, you then do additional unnatural things to try to restore some level of naturalness. Like if you need to go to the grocery store in a car, which is unnatural, the grocery store is unnatural, the car is unnatural. You then do another unnatural thing, which is artificially park far away so that you can do a natural thing, which is walk more. But But this is where like especially where calorie counting gets so convoluted and complex, because we say, we sort of resign ourselves to saying things need to be complicated and things need to be unnatural. So I'm going to eat 1,300 calories of whatever I want, wherever it's from, as long as I count it in this very precise way, which is the most, like, I'm going to eat unnatural food and then I'm going to track it in an unnatural way using these blah, 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 blah. Instead of just saying, look, eat foods that are directly found in nature as much as you can and move your body as much as you can, period. Like, if that should be the goal. And the more you can do that, the healthier you will be. And then once you've established that baseline, we can totally refine it. Like if you're 100 pounds overweight and diabetic and you get to, I eat natural foods and I move my body, you might not be at your goal weight, but we can, like, let's get there first, like focus on getting there first, and then we can take it to the next level.
Okay, I like that. So do you recommend, let's say somebody struggles with movement. For example, I found that, okay, my two daughters, one daughter, Aaliyah, is the one who went SANE, lost 25 pounds, totally changed her body. One daughter has a super high metabolism. We are feeding her all day to keep her full because she's just very slender, very active. But the difference is Grace has always been active, my second daughter. There's about a year of her life, we only saw her feet because she was cartwheeling around the house all the time. So we would just see her feet flying in the air. That was what she did. She cartwheeled everywhere she went. She was moving. Our daughter, Aaliyah, is a little bit more, she likes to read. She likes to talk. She's very conversational. She doesn't love cartwheeling. She can't do a cartwheel. She doesn't love that type of activity. And it was interesting to see how their bodies were just totally different shapes. Aaliyah was kind of thicker and getting heavier, and Grace was just super, super thin. And so I think part of it is, let's say somebody is naturally just doesn't like to move a lot. You know, they don't love sports. They don't love going outside. They like to read. They like to sit. It's an effort for them to move. Would you recommend they get a Fitbit? Would you recommend they start putting some of these new habits into place? Like, oh, I think I'll start walking before dinner. That'd be a good habit. I mean, these are really good habits. I feel like everything that I read here isn't something I would say, oh no, you shouldn't walk before dinner, or you shouldn't climb stairs. Those things are fine. I'm just wondering, for somebody who doesn't naturally move, what would you recommend to help them just to move more, or as much as their body would need?
And my microphone was muted there. Sorry about that.
I can hear you now. Show me where we're at.
My brain just exploded. No, it's all good. So you're exactly right in saying, like, bottom line, movement is good. So even if my natural state is that I don't really want to move, well, that could actually be going on for a couple different reasons. In fact, some of the underlying metabolic things which cause us to gain weight also cause us to want to move less. Like, movement becomes painful when, like, if you're 100 pounds overweight, movement doesn't feel good. You don't really want to do it, right? So yes, movement universally is good. You should move more. So if you don't naturally feel inclined to move, if a pedometer helps you move, then buy a pedometer. But if it makes you neurotic, then don't buy it. If you like to read, this is what I personally did. I don't really like exercising. However, I do like to read. And especially when I was doing a lot of the reading for the Calorie Myth and for what is now SaneSolution.com, I did that on a treadmill at 2 miles an hour. So just super slow, reading, or at least stand. But yeah, these techniques, like all these, watch one less hour of TV, watch something thoroughly once a week, buy a pedometer, clip it to your belt. These are all things going back to the kind of silly showing your child affection, like hug your child. Yes. Pat your child on the back. Yes. Well, they're all good things to do. But if the reason you're doing it is wrong, then the what you're doing also becomes compromised. So yeah, these are great things to do, but the reason you're doing them is because of health. It's because the body was meant to move. It's not so that you can adhere to mythical calorie math that doesn't apply in the real world.
I feel really happy right now. Thank you. It just makes it so easy. You're able to put things into really great principle-based solutions that I feel like, okay, I can do that. I want to be outside moving more. I bought my little standing desk. I'm standing again. This is so fun. I want to be standing more. I want to be continually becoming more and more healthy. And I think what's happened is, as you've helped show me all the things out there that are not true, or that there are a lot of different people out there who are trying to teach things that really won't help us be healthier. I just feel like I question things a lot more now, and I think it's good. I think it's good for us to always question the advice we're receiving. And just like that example of why you would treat your children a certain way, what is it that you're trying to achieve by doing that? I think it's really important for all of us to think, why am I going out walking right now? Or why am I at a standing desk? Or why am I going to the gym? Or why am I doing lunges? Or why am I doing yoga? I'm asking these questions, why? Because I think so many times the reason why I exercised was because I felt like if I didn't, people would disapprove of me, either because I would be overweight and I wouldn't look a certain way, or I felt like I need to exercise to prove I'm at least doing something to be able to move myself forward, even if I'm not seeing results. I just felt like it was such an external thing. You got to show up at the gym because your friends are at the gym. They want to see you there, that you prove you've done it. Or you just feel like I've got to exercise, I've got to check it off my box, show that I did exercise today, just so that my mind can rest and I won't feel bad about these extra pounds I'm carrying around, or something like that. I felt like there were always these random reasons I was doing things. And when really all we want is to be healthy. Every single person I speak with and every single person who emails me and asks me questions about SANE, their real goal is to be able to have nutritional serenity, to have strong, healthy bodies, be able to focus on their real purpose in life. But so many people feel like they never get a chance to get there because they are so consumed by all of these expectations that they have of themselves.
I think you hit the nail on the head there, April. And in terms of living that happy life and tying that into our personal goal of always providing you with a goal and a next action for your episodes, for each of these episodes, I would recommend that maybe for a next action, something as simple as, so what is something you currently do that you enjoy? Like maybe it's talking with your friends, or talking with your partner or your spouse, or speaking with your children. Do you do that sitting down? And like, do you have to do it sitting down? Like, could you go for a walk? I think actually women do a great job of this. You see a group of women get together and they go walking together. I don't really see guys doing it as much, but women do a great job of it. I think just walking and talking, I mean, people talk about eating dinner together is a great thing for a family. I agree. I also think that going for a walk as a family, talk with your friends. You're talking on the phone, throw on a headset, walk around your house while you talk on the phone, just so the next action is, what do you do seated that you don't have to be seated for? And if not, maybe stand up, maybe walk while you do it. How's that sound for next action?
I love that. I've actually started doing that. I have a weekly meeting with Saren, who runs Powered Moms with me. And we would always be sitting at our desk and looking at our computer, having these conversations. And last time I put on my headset and I actually went rollerblading while I had my meeting, and it was awesome. And then last night, our family, or 2 nights ago, our family sometimes would sit down, play a board game together, do something fun together, sitting around the table, or sit and watch a TV show together. We had our very first 6-person basketball game in the backyard, and it was so fun. All my kids are old enough now where it was kids against parents, and we were out there all moving, playing basketball together, having a great time. I wasn't doing it so I could fit into a size 2. I was doing it because I wanted to be with my kids and I want to have a good time with them. But I love that goal. And I think that there are so many things. I can think of 10 more things in my week that I could change so that I could do it standing up or moving. And that's actually really exciting. So thank you.
My pleasure. So that next action is take something you already do it standing or walking. And the stretch goal, because for me, this is just like mind and body simultaneously. So the stretch goal is, whether it's something that's inspirational, whether it's something that's educational, but it's got to be inspirational or educational. Either read it or listen to it while you walk. It's almost like a meditation. So for a half hour, try to find a half hour per week. It's half. If you can do more, that's great. But I got to tell you, for the bang for the buck, you can put a half hour reading or listening to something inspirational while moving your body. Man, that is a half hour to an hour that's really well spent. So that's added to the schedule, and that's the stretch goal. Is that okay?
Yay, I'm all for it.
Awesome. Well, hopefully, folks, this was a helpful clarification on some of the M-word issues that you have to deal with, the movement issues, and of course, move the body, live a happy, healthy life. And of course, as always, stay sane.